It's Sunday, Great Bead Extravaganza. Welcome everybody to the Bead Places live stream. We're super excited. We know you're excited. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Alex. This is Abby. Like I said, the Bead Place and beadplace.net is our store, our company. We've got a super awesome project for you all.
We do.
I'm going to let Abby explain that stuff, though.
Sure. So would you mind changing the ticker to the coupon code that we're running all weekend? If you shop at beadplace.net and use code TGBE20, you can get 20% off all weekend. And one of the things that you can get 20% off on is our Midwinter Wonder necklace kit. So that's the project that we are going to be doing today. If you're new to bead weaving, this is a great place to get started. Back in 2005, ages ago, I learned
the dark ages.
I learned how to do tubular peyote. So I learned making an amulet bag, which is a really kind of traditional way to use tubular peyote. But what we're going to do today is we're going to use those same steps with bigger beads on a smaller scale. So it's a little bit more beginner friendly. It's a nice kind of bite-sized project to jump into.
Little morsel.
So, yeah, a little morsel. So I hope you guys are ready to do some bead weaving today. We're going to try to get all the way through this project depending on how my fingers are behaving and depending on how the beads are behaving. Who knows?
And how I'm behaving.
How Alex is behaving. Yeah, you guys know Alex is a little bit of a
wild card.
A wild card. So we'll see. Yeah, thanks for being here. One thing that I want to mention before we get started is that not only do we have a giveaway at the end of this presentation, but the Great Bead Extravaganza as a whole has a giveaway. So the giveaway post is actually pinned in the Great Bead Extravaganza group. You can enter to win. You're trading your email to us for a chance to win one of 3 fabulous prizes that have been put together by all of the presenters here. And then we ship them off to Candy Cooper and her fabulous staff. And if you're a winner, they'll mail it to you. So that's exciting. Okay, you guys ready?
Before we start, though, make sure to like the video if you're on YouTube, heart it if you're on Facebook, and share it.
What am I I'm trying to do hearts and likes.
With all your friends, because that'd be really cool. Anyways, nothing to it but to do it.
All right, let's do it. So let's do it.
Get into it.
So what colorway would you guys like to see me work on today? We have Golden Frost, which is this one here. We have Winter Tea, which is this one here. And we have Northern Lights, which is this one here. All 3 colorways are still available, but these beautiful little cabochons on the inside, the little snowflake cabochons.
Midnight Sun, Golden Frost.
So we've got golden
brass.
We've got golden.
Tea.
We've got.
They're coming in fast. Golden brass, golden frost.
Hold on. We have Golden Frost, Winter Tea, and Northern Lights.
Seems like Northern Lights is pretty
strongly
in the lead here.
Northern Lights will be a good one because it's a high contrast bead that you guys will easily be able to see. That's a great choice. All right. Thank you. I'm seeing some compliments come in. I appreciate that.
Winter Tea and Northern Lights are definitely the 2.
Okay. Well, let's do Northern Lights since that one's the first one you said. Alex is going to drop the link for this kit in chat, so you guys can check that out and purchase one if you'd like.
Remember, use that coupon code and you'll save yourself quite a bit of money.
Yeah, 20%. So I just want to mention real quick, with any of our kits, you'll receive this little paper right here. Our kits don't come with written instructions since this right here is the instructions. But if you scan the QR code when you grab the kit, that's an easy way to get to the group to find the instructions. You can also always watch them on replay. So all of our presentations are always available for replay. So our kit has a fun little variety of beads here. I'm going to dump out my size 8 seed beads, and that's what we're going to use to get started. I'm just going to get my station set up here. You guys can see that I'm working on a bead mat. This is my preferred way to work. I like doing bead weaving on a bead mat. Some people like those little sticky mats or trays lined with felt, but this is what I like to use. So you can see here we have 2 of these cabochons in the kit, and that's because we're going to put them back to back inside of our bezeled project.
Several people are very excited that they can actually hear us today.
Yay! I'm excited that you guys can actually hear us today. I think that like one of the mic we were using just like the laptop
mic.
Just like the stuff that comes on the laptop, and I think that the mic might be going out or something.
Certainly appears that way. And today we're using our full setup, which we use every single Wednesday. So if you like beads and beading and all sorts of fun stuff, join us every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central on our Facebook. And we do live streams every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central. So
in your kit, you have a big eye needle. The whole entire middle of the needle opens to allow you to easily thread it. A lot of people have different needle preferences, but this is what we like to include in the majority of our bead weaving kits because we find it's the most accessible. We really try to focus on making projects that almost anybody can do. So using these little tools like these big eye needles to make threading our 8-pound Fireline through the eye, it makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to thread about 1/3 of my way down my Fireline. I know you guys can't see this, but I'll come back on screen in just a second. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do first is find myself on the screen and I am going to string one of my size 8 seed beads. And move these back. No, I'm going to move them forward a little bit so you guys can see. All right, so I'm going to string this one size 8 seed bead all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to leave about a 6-inch tail, between a 4 and a 6-inch tail. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to take my needle and I am going to go through that bead again in the same direction. So I'm creating what's called a stop bead. So I'm going to thread it through and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like as I pull it all the way through. So basically what we're doing, focus little guy, focus. What we're doing, I'll put my hand behind it. We're creating this little loop right here. So we're making a kind of slidable stop bead that is going to try to stop our beads from falling off the end, but it's still not a permanent knot or anything like that. So it's great for projects where you are working in the round. Oh my gosh, I see these orders coming in. Thank you so much. My phone's blowing up. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's so sweet. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to be working in rows of 18, but with this particular kind of peyote stitch or gourd stitch, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be combining our first 2 rows. So what we're going to do is a little bit of math. So what's 18 times 2, everybody? Do you know?
6 million.
36. Okay, so we're going to string 36. We are going to count this first bead as one of our beads in the row. So we've got 1, now we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Learn to count with Abby. All right, so this is what we've got. Now what we're going to do is we are going to join this into a circle. So this is the end right here where my stop bead is. And we are going to go through a couple of those beads to join it into a circle. I usually like to do 2 just to make sure my tension is set right. Now we've got a circle. All right, so now we're going to start to break our rows into their individual rows, or break our beads into their individual rows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a bead, and I am going to...
I just dropped the link again since we've had so many comments. I feel like it might have got lost in the shuffle there. So
thank you, Alex. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys as slowly as possible. And Alex, I'm going to rely on you to tell me if I'm on screen and in focus.
Yes and yes.
All right. So you can see my thread is coming out of this bead right here, and it's going up in this direction. I have a bead on my needle. I'm going to skip this next bead in the row, and I'm going to go through that 3rd bead here. So this step might seem really slow, but I'm showing you guys this slowly and very intentionally so you're able to see exactly what I'm doing here.
That's why I'm here.
All right. So we're going to pull that through. So what we want to happen is we want our little circle to now have doubled beads in that little step right there. Are you guys able to see okay? I hope so. All right. So now we're going to pick up another bead, and we've gone through this bead right here. So now we're going to skip this bead that's next and go through the next bead. And it's going to make a little bit more sense what we're doing as we continue on around in the circle. So I'm going to set it up so you can easily see it. I'm glad we picked this Northern Lights color, guys, because if I would have picked that winter tea, seeing that against my thumb, it's probably the same color as my thumb. So, all right.
I'm not sure if I can pin the link.
We might rely on our friends, our other presenters to do that, as we're in StreamYard right now, and I'm not sure if we have the controls since we're multi-streaming. But Alex will just periodically post it, and then for your convenience, we also have it in the description of this video. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can click the drop-down bar, or if you're watching on Facebook, depending on the device you're watching on, it's either going to be on the right side or above the video that you're watching. Okay, so we're skipping another bead, and we're going through the next one. And you can start to see how it's making this really cool little pattern where we've got 1 bead and then 2 beads stacked together. 1 bead, 2 beads stacked together.
Did you use your stop bead in the design?
Yes, I did. I always use my stop bead in the design when I'm doing projects like this. And then what I'll do when I get to the point where I'm actually going to close it off is I'll pull the stop bead out, or pull the tail end of the stop bead out. You could use an alternate bead as a stop bead that you remove at the end, but I sometimes find that it kind of messes with my tension a little bit. But it's all personal preference. So try different things and see what works best for you. Okay, so this is what we're doing so far. And what I'm going to do now, just to kind of move things along a little bit quicker, is I am just going to speed right through the rest of this.
Movie magic.
Well, not really, because I'm actually doing
Abbi magic.
But I'll show you guys periodically as I work. So while I'm doing this, I wanted to ask you guys, how many of you do bead weaving already? And if so, what is your favorite bead weaving stitch to do? And Alex, if you could read me some of the responses as they come in, that would be fantastic.
I have learned that I can, in fact, pin. I just got to do it through my Facebook app on my phone.
Yeah, and not the StreamYard.
Do you have those blue beads themselves in store? They're so pretty.
We do, yeah. We have a whole lot of seed beads in our physical store and also in our online shop. I don't know this color number off the top of my head, but if you send us a message, we could certainly answer that for you.
Everyone's saying peyote.
Yeah.
Like literally everybody.
Yeah. So, guys, I have a question. When you learned peyote, did you learn tubular peyote first, or peyote in the round first, or did you learn the flat peyote first? And which one do you think is easier? Alrighty. So as I said, I learned peyote in 2005. I had done some simple bead weaving stitches before then, but I learned peyote in 2005, and I started with an amulet bag.
Could you show the other? Oh my gosh, these comments are flying. I can't even.
They're coming so fast, it's hard to read.
Could you show the other colors on the screen?
Yeah, definitely. We can do that. So this is Golden Frost. And then I'll show you Winter Tea. And then this is Northern Lights, which is what we're working on right now.
If there's more questions, I'm sorry.
We're trying not to ignore
so many
you guys.
Comments. There's so many comments. I can't keep up with them.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. 268 people.
That's awesome. Thank you, guys.
Make sure to like the video and heart it if you're on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like it if you're on YouTube. Heart it on Facebook.
All right. So I'm to the point now where I'm back at my stop bead. So I've done every other, all the way around. And I have an even number of beads, which means that it works out evenly to do every other. And so now what I can do is I can work on picking that extra thread on my stop bead out. So usually what I do is I just pull my needle underneath, and I just kind of pull my thread up, and then I have a circle with no stop bead.
How did you size the cabochon to decide the starting number of beads?
Experimentation.
Also, P says hi.
Hi. Hi,
honey.
Okay, so
our
I'm
daughter's watching, so.
I'm adding that very last bead in. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to work my rows. So
yes, thanks, Cindy. So they're here to help me out.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to work my rows. So I have picked up a bead. Let me get my thread untangled. I'm always so nervous when we do these, so I'm a little shaky. Okay.
What's to be nervous about? Only 300 people are watching you do it right now. I mean,
Stop.
I'm not nervous.
Well, you're not trying to work with teeny tiny little beads on camera.
Hey, I got to read on camera, and you almost tried to get me to do math. So
yeah, that's true.
How rude.
Okay, so I made a misstep. I'm gonna fix it. Here we go. So one thing that you do or have to do when you're ready to move up to the next row is you have to do a step up. So I am going to, my thread is coming out of that last single bead. Now I'm going to take my needle through that first doubled bead that I put on. And that's my step up to get me into the next row.
Lois says, yeah, and you're a pro.
You for reading?
Probably about me. Yeah, it's probably about me for being able to read properly well in front of 300 people.
Now I have my thread coming out of my first doubled bead. And what I'm going to do is I've picked up another bead on my needle. And now I'm just filling in the holes. So I'm going through that next doubled bead. And you can see now we have 3 sections of doubled beads, but one is slightly higher. So now once again, I'm going to pick up a single bead.
Thanks, Allegory Gallery.
I'm going to go through
said we are so much fun.
The next double bead.
Fun.
We're doing our best. So let me get this thread out of the way. And I'll show you that this bead here is just going to fall right into that little hole that's left from that row beneath where there's a single bead. And I'm going to pick up another bead and go through the double bead. Are you guys able to kind of understand what's going on here? Are my newbies getting it? I'm not seeing the comments, so I don't know what is going on. Alex, you're going to have to let me know.
What size cab did you use?
That's a good question. I don't have my notes on the cab size right now, but if you message us after the presentation, we will be happy to give that answer to you. I could go get it, but I know I'm going to be running short on time for this, so we can definitely answer that after the presentation.
Beautiful job teaching, says Deborah.
Oh, thank you. So now that I have a couple on, it's a lot easier to see what's happening. So now we have our third row that we're working on because our first two rows were combined. Alrighty.
Everybody says you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm working around the circle, and I am working with Fireline right now. I find that that is my preference for projects like this. I learned using Nymo, which is also a great bead weaving material. I find that Fireline is what works best for me when I'm pulling bezels tight, but everybody has their own preferences. There's a lot of different threads out there that people use, and you just kind of have to find what works best for you and what works best for your project. If I was doing a strip of flat peyote, something that I would want to be soft, like a kind of like a ribbon style bracelet, I would probably want to use Nymo or one of those like kind of like synthetic silk type smaller threads that are a little bit more supple. Fireline is kind of stiff and wiry, but it's great for dimensional projects like this.
Hello.
So I have a couple more passes for this row, and then I will show you how to step up to the next row.
Step off. I said step up.
Step up. I'm pushing my bead mat down as I work. I'm
really
like getting close to the camera, really trying to make sure you guys can see.
Your hands are coming back.
I know.
There you go.
That's the sweet spot right there. Okay, so I am to the point now where I have this little hole that I have to fill in, which is going to complete this row. So I've got a bead on my needle. I'm going to go through.
What is the reason for 8-pound Fireline?
To make it sturdier. You could use a smaller pound test, but I prefer 8 for something dimensional like this. So I'm at the point now where I'm about to fill in that blank. So I'm going to go through the next bead, but I'm also going to take that step up and go through the bead that's right next to it so that I can start up and my thread will be coming out so that I'm ready to add another row yet. See how we're ready to go now? Our thread is coming out in the right spot. So if we add a bead, it'll fall right in that little hole. Okay, so I'm going
Leslie says, I only use Fireline when doing peyote.
Yeah, I like Fireline for a variety of different projects, but it just kind of depends on what that project is. Fireline is great because it like sometimes if you're using sharp beads like crystals in your bead weaving, it can kind of shred some other threads, but Fireline is less likely to get shredded.
Cindy says, great demo on stepping up. Sean says,
thanks.
Nice demo on that. Stepping up has always tripped me up.
Yeah.
And Barbara says, looks good.
Well, thanks. It's just kind of one of those things where like when you get to a spot where it looks wrong, it's likely that you just need to step up. You're like, wait a minute, where do I need to go here? It's just truly that you need to just go up that next bead so that you can get traveled to start your next row. Alrighty. So we are going to be doing our own giveaway. Something that you guys might not know if you don't follow us outside of the Bead Extravaganza is, oh no, I have a tangle. It's not a knot
Which
until
is
you
we
pull it
have
tight.
a tangle. That's what you need to know.
Is that we just started a monthly subscription box. So it's called TBP for the Bead Place, TBP Monthly Fun Pack. And each month our staff, we're curating our favorite picks within a specific theme. And so today's the cutoff day for January's pack. So if you want to subscribe, today's the last day to sign up and then receive January's pack. But then after that, if you sign up, you'll receive February's pack or whatever is the time frame that you're signing up. But we have an extra January pack that we made that we're going to be giving away. And the way that you can enter to win is by following us on Instagram. It is at the Bead Place, and then leave a comment on our most recent Instagram post. You can leave whatever comment you want. You can say anything, just don't be mean.
What is the price for the monthly pack?
It is either 35 or 30, depending on if you subscribe or if you're just buying a try it pack. You save $5 a month if you subscribe. All right. I got so carried away that I haven't even been counting my rows.
What is it, amateur hour?
I know, right? I got to make sure I'm not getting a little overzealous here. I'm going to get to the end of this row, and then I'm going to count my rows and make sure I'm on track. So this is our cute little January's fun pack. There's a lot of stuff jammed into this giveaway bag. If you're already following us on Instagram, you are still eligible for the giveaway as long as you leave a comment on that post. And if you're watching the replay of this later and you're not sure if you're commenting in the right place, it's the post that has, actually, I'm going to hold on for a minute. It's the post that has this picture here. It's a square, but this picture here as the front picture. Okay, so I'm at a spot now where I'm going to show you guys that step up one more time. So you can see I have a spot where it's like, uh-oh, what's going on here? So I'm going to go into this bead here, and then it's going to allow me to step up into that next row. How are we doing on time, Mr. Alexander?
33 minutes, 55 seconds.
That we're into it?
We're into it.
All right. I guess it doesn't matter if we have an hour, because we're halfway, either way you look at it. If you're looking at it from the beginning or the end. All right, so I've worked my needle through here so that I can kind of demonstrate to you in a better visual way for you to see what's happening here. So my thread is coming out right there, and I've added a bead, and I'm going so that I'm adding that bead into that little space behind the needle here. My needle has gone through this bead, and then it's also going through that step up, which is going to allow us to add the beads around into these little holes or divots. It's like laying bricks. All right. So I'm going to pull that. I'm going to count my rows. I think I've got one more row to go, but I'm going to count my rows. Let's see. 1, 2. Oh, no, I'm good, right? Yeah, I'm good. Okay, so you will have some extra beads in your kit because we know that.
When do you do the unboxing of your subscription?
So we do ours a little bit differently. It's like an inspiration pack rather than a kit itself. There's always going to be stringing materials and random findings and stuff in there to help you along. But we post project ideas starting on the 15th in our Facebook group. So if you join the Bead Place Facebook group, it's literally the Bead Place Facebook group. Then you'll find the project ideas there. starting on the 15th. So later today, there'll be project ideas posted. We just didn't want to interfere with our fabulous bead extravaganza. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start to do our bezel.
Feel better, Rosemary?
She
said she's going to go lay down. She's feeling a bit nauseous.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. Okay, so now we should have checked before, but I've already checked and sized these for you, so no need for you to check on this project.
We're doing it live.
But what you would do would check to make sure your cabs fit inside or whatever you're bezeling. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start to actually do that bezel tightening. So if you look on this particular project, you can see that now that we know how to peyote with these bigger beads, now we're ready to tackle the smaller beads. So we're going to start to add this kind of tightened bezel row here. So stepping down to a smaller size bead is actually going to start to suck these edges in. So it's going to hold it like a bezel. All right. So I'm going to pick up one of my size 11 seed beads, and then I'm going to go through the size 8 and pull it. And another one of my size 11s and go through the next size 8 and pull it. So you can see, if it'll focus, you can see that we're adding these in. So since I'm not pulling super tight at this point, I'm hoping maybe if I stick my thumb in between here, you'll be able to see it.
How many rows did you do?
I will answer that in a sec. So what I'm hoping that you will be able to see is that there's a little bit of space in between here. But when we pull it tight, it'll go away. So the number of rows that we do, and I just want to make sure that it's clear to everybody because peyote can be a little bit tricky, especially because we combine those first 2 rows. The easiest, most clear way for me to answer this question is for me to say that we have 3 towers of beads or 3 beads stacked here in this tower, and then 2, and then 3, and then 2, and then 3, and then 2. And so that is what I have found to be the easiest way to explain that to beginners. Let me pull this back a little bit. So, but really what we've done here is we've combined the first 2, oh, I'm not even on camera. What we've combined is the first 2 rows. So this is row 1, this is row 2, this is row 3, this is row 4, this is row 5. So the 3 and the 2 together make 5. Hopefully that makes sense. If I can clarify that in any additional way, let me know, and I'll try to explain it in more detail.
Yeah, I don't get it. We'd be here all day. Sorry, other presenters. We got to explain to Alex how to do this.
So we're going to keep working around the circle in order to get a row of these 11s.
Sally says, I learned hills and valleys, so you, well, the comment's gone now. Oh my gosh, it's actually though.
There we go.
So in this piece, you have 3 bead hills and 2 bead valleys.
Oh, that's a very smart way to do it. That is, yeah, that's a great idea.
Everybody else is saying great explanation.
Oh, thank you.
Or something to that effect.
Yeah. So you can see here as I work around that each of these little beads has some space in it.
You're pointing to something off camera. There.
Sorry. Let me back it up. There we go.
Bag it up.
Yeah. So each of these little valleys where we've stuck our new, hill? Where we've stuck our new hill has a little bit of wiggle room, but that's fine. It's totally fine. I'm going to move my needle along the thread real quick just to give me a little bit more working room. So yeah, that's totally fine because we are going to tighten it once we get close to the end of this row. And as we tighten it, I want to wait to tighten it so you guys can see how dramatic and impressive it is. Okay, got about 25 minutes left. We got this. We're going to do it. All right. So I'm super excited to see Eileen's presentation later today. if you're new to watching presentations in the Great Bead Extravaganza, I should let you know that this is the first time that we've actually hosted a guest presenter. So Eileen is a little bit later today. Her presentation is on packaging and presentation ideas using some cool like Sizzix products. That side of the craft world is super new to me, but it's really intriguing. So I'm really excited to learn. Anytime I've been to craft shows and bead shows, I've always been super intrigued by those machines. There's like rolling mill type ones and cutting ones that like, I don't even know what I'm talking about, like die cut.
I sure don't.
You guys know more than what I'm talking about. Or yeah, I'll just stop.
You tried it.
I tried. Okay, so you can see already that just from my just natural tension of adding the beads, it's starting to cup in just a little bit.
Did I miss how much thread you started with?
I think I have that in my notes here.
Maybe
4 feet, but we can definitely clarify that information
4 feet.
After.
You're off screen.
Blah. I
You need
keep
to zoom
pushing
out a
forward.
little bit, I'm telling you.
No, if I zoom out, then they won't be able to see each individual bead.
Debatable.
Yeah, we always debate on what the zoom should be. Okay, so I'm at the point where I'm going to add in my last little seed bead on this row. And I am going to go through my 8 and then also my 11 because it's a step up.
Even though Abby is an experienced bead weaver, she knows where beginners may get confused and will need more slower instruction. That's the mark of an excellent teacher.
Thank you. It also comes with teaching classes like this for 15 years and knowing the parts that I usually end up like repeating myself several times.
Goofy.
So it's just like ingrained in my mind which parts need to be said in a couple different ways. So you can see that we've completed that row. Now watch what happens. I hope you guys can see this. I hope I'm holding it in a way that you can see. Watch what happens. So I pull this tight and look at that. So it's open on this end and it's like a little bezel now. So if I pull this super tight, what would happen is it would catch my pendant in there. Isn't that cool? So because it's so close, what we're going to do is we're going to add another row of 11s just to make sure that nothing's going to fall out. So we're going to make that bezel even tighter.
8/0 seed beads used less? I haven't used
it. They're not as popular as 11s, but I certainly use them a lot. They're chunkier, so they make for bead weaving stitches that could look a little bulky maybe, but it depends on your personal taste. I like using a combination of sizes. But we have a lot of projects actually on our YouTube channel that feature size 8s and size 6s. We just recently started carrying size 2s even, which are like, they fit in the crow bead category of seed beads. So I have just started on my next row here, and you can see I'm now adding another set of 11s. There we go.
Also, I just dropped the YouTube channel in the chat. Go ahead and subscribe. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of free tutorials over on the YouTube channel. Subscribe and
and while you're at it,
watch to your heart's content.
Subscribe to the Great Bead Extravaganza's YouTube channel as well. So you can see now with my second row of size 11s, we are adding them directly on top of a size 8. So it kind of just adds a decorative edge, and then it also makes it so that we are less likely to lose our cute little cabochons out of our bezel. So I'm placing the bead on top of the 8, but basically we're going from the 11 to an 11 from the previous row. And if that made no sense to you, don't worry about it. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm just trying to explain to you guys where we are in this step, because switching bead sizes can be a little confusing because things start to look a little bit different. But you will be doing the exact same thing as we were before. I should mention that because we're filling in those blanks with the smaller size beads, it's not quite as obvious what the current row is that we're working on, because, like I said, those 11s kind of fall down into the divot. But we are going through the 11s from the previous row. They kind of sit up just a little. And then this last row that we do here is the most difficult because they fall in. So it'll be a little bit trickier to get your needle into those beads. How are we doing on comments?
What is the name in the site on Instagram? It's
just at the bead place. So the bead place. If you just search the bead place, it should pop up. And Alex, I don't know if you're able to quickly link that in chat for their convenience, but that would be nice. And so, how many people do we have in chat that have never done any bead weaving before at all? I know a lot of you earlier said that you had done peyote, but I want to know if we have folks watching that haven't done any bead weaving. Thanks for
There's the
dropping
link.
that link.
Links are
being silly.
No, a link from Facebook to Instagram isn't going to work right, though, because they're not going to be logged in. You need to go on to...
They might if it's connected.
You need to go on to Instagram and just search the bead place is the best way. And you'll find it. It'll be the most liked bead place. I'm sure there's like a bead place one or whatever, but you'll know which one is which, because there's pictures of us on there and pictures of beautiful beads and yarn. So
pictures of this project.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Sarah says, I bought kits for my girls. I think they can handle this. I think they can handle this too, Sarah. Your girls impress me with their crafts and arts that they do.
Susan Ortiz said, me, but I want to start. Me, I've done bead weaving. There's so many comments. I'm sorry, guys. I can't. There's no way I could possibly get to all these comments. Me, I've done bead weaving a couple of times, but I can't tell one stitch from another. What size cabochon is this for?
I forgot to grab my notes on that when we started, but if you message us, I can answer that question after the chat. So one thing that you guys might not know about our store is that not only are we a bead store, but we're also a yarn store. So we're a full service yarn store as well. And we do lots of fiber arts classes. And so people that knit and crochet and weave, I find like a lot of the stitching kind of things go hand in hand. So if you're a knitter or crocheter and you haven't gotten into bead weaving yet, I think that this would definitely be one of those projects for you that would be meditative.
Oh, well, it worked. Okay, well, there you go.
Good. Yeah, it depends on the devices that you're using. Like if you're...
I was afraid to bead weave. Abby makes it look so easy. That's true.
Well, I wouldn't say that all bead weaving projects are easy, but I kind of feel like there's projects that are a little bit more likely to be beginner friendly and also enjoyable.
Yes.
Because I want to tell you, although I started with an amulet bag, I hated it. Like it was fun at first, and then it just it wasn't fun anymore.
Mary Jean said beads and yarn.
Beads and yarn. Come see us. We're in the St. Louis area.
Fairview Heights.
Oh my gosh, this last bead, I can't get it. I'm like, you guys, if you know me, you might know that when I'm nervous, I get kind of sweaty. And so at this point, my hands are sweaty, and I'm just really trying to hold on to this needle. So, okay.
I
got it through there.
Lorraine, in order to make a comment on Instagram, you just click on the most recent post, and then there should be like a little comment bubble that pops up that you can leave a comment on. So you can leave a comment.
Okay, check this out. Isn't that gorgeous? That's just 2 rows of the size 11s on top of our 5 rows of 8s.
Sensational.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to check to make sure that our cabochon does not fall out. It does not. We did it. Good job, guys. If it did, if it was so loose that it was falling out, what you're going to do is you're going to take your thread and you're going to repeat that row that you just did. We're not going to be adding more beads, but you're just going to go through all those beads one more time, the same way that you did before, to basically retrace your steps and pull tight as you go, and it'll cinch everything in. So always ways to kind of get around it not fitting. Okay, so now that we have this side done, we're going to travel our thread to the other side because our pendant is double-sided. I love long pendants like this, or long chains with a pendant, but I find that sometimes my pendant will flip around. So I love to make stuff double-sided so it's pretty no matter what. Okay.
That's beautiful. So, very beautiful. It's so pretty. Beautiful.
Yay.
Beautiful exclamation point. Love it. Exclamation point.
Thank
Doing great.
You.
Love it.
So one thing that you could do in future projects, this is kind of like a hack. I don't know. I just want to mention it. You could leave your tail end longer and then use your tail end to finish the other side. I hate doing that because I find that I'm always tangling my tail end up in my work. But a lot of people do that when they're doing double-sided projects like this. I just travel it through. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure that I am working diagonally with my needle so that I'm not crossing anything, like I'm not going sideways bead to bead or anything like that. So my thread is, I hope you guys can see this. My thread is coming out right here. My 11, that's right here. So what I'm going to do is next, I'm going to go through this 8. So my thread is coming out here. And now I'm going to go through that next 8 because that would be 1 over diagonally. And then I'm going to go through, so my thread is coming out of this 8. I'm going to go through diagonally, so 1 up and to my left, and then another one up and to my left. And I'm just going to work my needle through, or work my thread through, all the way to the other side. So sometimes you can get lucky and you can go through 2 beads at a time, and sometimes you have to individually go through each bead. But now I'm all the way to the other side. Hopefully that made sense to everybody. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pull really, really, really tight before we start this row. And what that's going to do is it's going to lock in this tension from the other side so that it's still super tight and so that our cabochon won't fall out. So now is where the tension gets super important. Before, kind of important, but now it's very important. So I am not only going to pull this end, but I'm also going to pull the tail end just to really anchor things all over the place. So I'm going to start my size 11 row all over again. So I'm coming out of, as Sally said, one of the hills, and I'm going to add one of my beads to the valleys. That is a great learning tool, Sally. Thank you for mentioning that. So I'm adding my seed bead, my size 11 seed bead right there into that valley. And then I am going to pick up another one and do the same. And I'm just going to work around the circle in the same way that we did before. So this
bring it around town.
Yeah, bring it around town. So this is something that you guys have already seen, but this time it is very important that we leave our tension a little bit looser on this first row so that we can sneak in those cabochons. And then once we sneak in those cabochons, Then we're going to pull it real tight and we're going to lock them in.
Lock it in. Lock it in. Wanda said, this is so cool. I've never seen a double-sided beaded cab tutorial.
Oh, well, thanks. Happy to be the first to bring it to you. There's all kinds of wonderful bead weaving projects out there. Bezeling was something that like was scary to me when I first got into it. It was like, oh no, it's not going to fit if I don't do it just right. But guess what? Just take it out, adjust the size of your or the quantity of your beads in your rows, and try again. What's cool about seed beads is that there's no glue involved. You just cut your thread or you take it out and you try again. You can use the beads over again and you'll be fine. Alrighty, so it talks about our giveaway. If you'd like to win our January fun pack, you can follow us on Instagram. If you're already following us on Instagram, great. You can leave a comment on our most recent Instagram post, a picture of the 3 colorways of this project, and you'll be entered to win our giveaway. Aside from our giveaway, the Great Bead Extravaganza is having a giveaway. That post is pinned in our group. Please don't give anybody your credit card information or anything like that. Occasionally there's scammers out there. Haven't seen any this time around, but
you never know.
You never know. Just please use our official giveaway sign up link, and we'll only ask you for your name and your email address, and that email address gets given to the presenters for us to use for our marketing purposes. So please keep that in mind, that you are trading your email address to us for a chance to win fabulous swag bags by all of us.
Does this type of bezeling work on cabochons that aren't round, like a teardrop?
Yes. However, you have to sometimes get a little bit creative when it comes to other shapes. Either creative with your tension or creative with like going back through and stitching additional beads on top. Okay, so we've got our cabs in here and it's a real tight fit. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pull really tight and I'm gonna keep my thumb right there.
The double cabochon is brilliant. Would this also work using a single cab?
Yes, it would.
What did we have to put in the comment section at Instagram? Anything?
Whatever you want, just something nice.
As long as it's school appropriate.
Yeah, just something nice. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, now that we've pulled this super tight, is we are going to continue on with our next
12:30
row. Okay, so I might not get all the way around this, but I'm gonna try really hard to bead really fast. Okay.
Speed beading. Speed beater X. Like Speed Racer, right? That joke didn't land.
Okay, that's fine.
By pulling tight, you won't break the Fireline?
No, that's why I use Fireline, because this is 8-pound Fireline. It's super strong. These beads are good quality beads. So as long as you're not using sharp materials, you should be good to go. You don't want to like muscle it so hard that you're going to break your cabochons or your beads or anything. But you want to pull it tight enough that you are actually manipulating the shape of your beadwork, so that it kind of anchors everything together. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. So after us, we have the wonderful Heather from Humble Beads. So make sure to stay tuned for her presentation. We've got a short bathroom break or snack break or whatever you need to do break. Feed the kids, feed the cats. And then you'll have Heather. And we have schedules posted for the entire event pretty much everywhere. All of the presenters have posted the schedule. It's on our page, it's in the group. So hopefully you're referring to that schedule so you know when our presentations start. And again, please just, you know, be aware that we're all small businesses doing our very best to get these presentations to you. This is all a volunteer thing. We do certainly appreciate the benefit of any sales that we receive from this. But we're all people just like you, so we appreciate your kindness, patience, and support with us during things like this. Like we had an audio glitch during the preview night.
Man, it
that was
brutal.
so awful, but we appreciate our friends stepping up and helping us through. Okay, almost there. What's my time, Alex?
12:41.
I got kind of cocky earlier, and I was like, "Oh, let me just lackadaisically. I'll be fine on time." But
taking
then
a stroll in the park.
Yeah.
Now you're taking a brisk jog.
Yeah, a really quick walk. It's chilly outside.
Sprint. You gotta be like.
I don't know. I'm trying to sprint, but I don't think I want to run in front of all these people.
Usain Bolt.
I'd break a bead or something.
Do you regular Facebook lives?
Yes.
Or just use Instagram? So we stream. We go live on Facebook every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central, and it's usually like a live sale kind of thing. But sometimes we just hang out and make stuff.
So I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt. I'm going to cut you off.
Okay.
So
I'm used to it.
I did it. If your tension is a little wonky, just keep kind of pulling with your thread and moving your tension around. You can kind of situate where your cabochons are sitting within your bezel by kind of grabbing either side with your finger and thumb and just scooching stuff around. One final thing that you can do if you need to adjust your tension is you can go back around again and get those final rows tighter. You can travel back to the other side, get that final row tighter, and then you can center your piece as you work.
Movie magic.
So that everything is centered. Now, how are we on time? Oh, we got a little bit of time. So I'm going to explain it, but I'm not going to demonstrate it.
3
so
minutes.
What we're going to do in order to get this fun little bail right here that we add our ball chain through. Maybe I think I have time. I think I have time. You guys think I have time? Ooh, I have time. Okay, so let's do it.
Only one way to find out.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to travel my thread back to the middle. So I'm coming out of.
You're not on camera.
I'm looking at it.
Okay. I'm just letting you know.
So I'm coming out of one of my 3 beads, my 3 hills.
Becca said, don't forget the bail.
Yes, thank you, Becca. That's what I'm doing right now. So what you're going to do is you are going to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're going to figure out the number of seed beads that you want to make your bail. If you are using the ball chain, our recommended quantity of seed beads is approximately 10. If you want a smaller loop, use fewer beads. If you want a bigger loop to go on something else that you're wanting to string this on, you can do that as well. Just add more seed beads. We give you plenty of extra seed beads in case you drop things. Okay, so now what we're going to do, now that our thread is coming out right here, this is your permission to go somewhere else that's not directly diagonal from the bead you're coming out of. So we have these beads on our needle. This is going to be our bail for the loop. And now we're going to go through that other bead, that other third bead, and we are going to create a bail in that way. So you're going to go back through. It's going to create this fun little loop right here, and that's your bail. So now what we're going to do is just weave our thread in and out, and just kind of bury it off. You can tie a knot if you'd like. It's easy to hide a knot using size 8s, but the peyote purists would say don't tie a knot, just bury your thread. And you've got a beautiful pendant. Then you would put your ball chain through it. We have great quality ball chains. Put it through, snap it on, and you're good. Let's go to face cam. We did it with no time to spare. Woo!
Again, guys, we pinned the kit. We pinned the kit.
We did it.
Let's yell about it and waste the last 2 minutes.
We have 1 minute. We're done.
We pinned the kit. If you want to purchase the kit, it's pinned at the top of this. Thank you for watching. If you want to enter the giveaway for us, I just posted in the comments again. All you got to do is go to our Instagram. Make sure to leave a comment on the most recent post, and that'll enter you. We'll be announcing that after the stream later today, right?
No, we'll
be announcing it later in the future.
Until Wednesday. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Be kind. Adios.
Bye. Thank you.